Hi, this is Mrs. Dahman. This is a read aloud of the second of the practice sheets that we're looking at to determine point of view. We've covered the different types of point of view, first, second, and the three types of third person point of view. And now we're putting into practice what it looks like to use clues from the text, use words in the text, use the anchor chart that we've had shared and what we know to determine what the point of view of the story that's being told. Being able to determine what point of view helps you determine all kinds of things about a story, specifically who's telling it and what their thoughts might be as they're telling it. This is what is the point of view number 2. I had been asking my parents if I could join the school band for years, but they had always ignored me. Yesterday, when they said that they had signed me up and I had to report to the band room after school today, I was totally unprepared. By unprepared, I mean that I had never actually considered what instrument I wanted to play. I just knew that I liked music and that several of my friends were in band. I would have to pick my instrument today, and I'd only have an hour to do so. It seemed like a very important decision, and I was stressed about messing it up. The reason I only had an hour was that I'd have to rent the instrument from a salesman, and he was only around today. The good news was that he would bring a sample of every instrument that I could rent. I could at least pick them up and get a feel for them. I walked into the band room to find gleaming, sparkling instruments everywhere. I'd have to hurry if I was going to test everything out. I always thought that I'd like the saxophones, so I headed over there first. There were so many buttons, they seemed way too complicated for me. It was the same problem with the clarinets and oboes. The flute and the French horn were instruments that I had never really been interested in. There were several other instruments, including the bassoon and tuba, but they were just too big to handle. I was really interested in the trumpet, but I didn't see any, so I asked the salesman. He said that too many students were playing the trumpet already, so the band teacher had told him not to include them. I was totally bummed out. Nothing felt right, and the only thing I was interested in was the one thing I couldn't choose. I was so upset, in fact, that I grabbed the mallet for one of the giant timpani drums and gave it a big wallop. It let out a deep vibrating sound. I whacked it again. Then I grabbed the other mallet and banged away. This was the greatest sound I'd ever heard. It was like thunder. This couldn't be one of the options, could it? I asked the salesman, and he said it was. Oh boy, my parents were not going to be happy, but I was sold. What point of view is this story written from? Use text to prove your answer.